Hello and welcome to this next instalment of the Small Account Trading Challenge, where I take $1,000 and see if it's possible to make any money whatsoever from it. Now, more and more of you are now trading small accounts due to the pandemic, lockdown, the interest in stocks and the Forex. I'm going to see whether it's possible at all. If you're just joining us, we have a previous episode that you might want to watch that sets you up for the whole series. If you're joining me again, hello and welcome once more. In this episode, we're going to look at setting up the trading plan and the considerations that go into the trading plan. You know, the things you need to do before you even start going headlong into trading. I'm Stephen Hode, trader and founder of The Stop Hunter. Now, if you want to be good or very good at something, you've got to put in the effort, the time, the thought, the sweat and the tears to achieve the results that you want, whether that be being a golfer, doctor, scientist. And the same applies in the world of trading. If you want to be good at trading, if you want to make money from trading, then you have to have a plan. And it's no different to going to your bank manager with a business plan, wanting that loan for your business idea. You should treat trading exactly the same way. Have a trading plan before you start. Now, you're thinking, well, Stephen's been doing this for decades. He should be able to jump straight in, and I will answer that. No, that's completely wrong. This is a new challenge that's taking me out of my comfort zone. I'm going to have to try something that I haven't done for decades. There's new markets, there's new tools, brokers, etc., etc. It's a new world, and because it's a new challenge, I'm going to start with a plan. So no exceptions. You have a plan. However experienced you are, however good you think you are, you need a trading plan. So what can we put, at a generic level into our plan? Now, this is how I think of the component parts when starting the trading plan. Obviously, we're going to have our personal objectives. We've got to have the risk management rules, the trade management rules, psychology. What do I mean by psychology? Well, your own psychology, that of the market. How is that going to fit into the plan? Do you have any strengths, weaknesses there that could give you an edge? And then we move on to, well, there's no point doing all this stuff if you don't have an edge and a formulated strategy or strategies. So we have to get all of those 5 components into the plan, plus on top of that, it's not over when you've closed out the trade. You've got to constantly be analysing your performance, like all the best sportsmen do. You've got to do the same. We've got to keep a log of results and work out what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, and make those changes, action on what we find. Quite simply, like any plan, it should be answering the who, what, why, where, when, how questions. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of the trade plan for the small account challenge. It's $1,000. It doesn't seem like much to some people, but it's significant enough because that is one of the holding factors to this challenge. And if we go back to those points that I made previously, the 6 different areas to look at into the trading plan. My personal objectives, well, that's to make money from this challenge, however long it takes. If we keep learning from it, I'll keep running the challenge. But, my personal objective is to make money. Can you make money from a small account? Yours might be to buy a new car, to buy a new television. These are the things you've got to put into your plan, and are they realistic? Can you really get a car from an £1,000 account? More than likely not, unless you get extremely lucky, and we're not in the game of luck. So what you put into those personal objectives has to be realistic in the first place. And like I said, I'm just trying to prove that you can make money or not. I might lose the whole lot and the challenge ends, and it just proves that it is very difficult to do. But you also got to put in other personal objectives, like, is it lifestyle friendly? Does it fit around your work life? Can you run your strategies and ideas, and even run a small account like $1,000 in your life? So lifestyle objectives should also be factored into the trading plan. And then we get on to risk and trade management, things like margin, leverage, holding periods of trade. Do I need to get out of them in the same day? The markets to use, how much do I risk on a trade, or how much do I risk in the portfolio? How many trades do I have on as a bunch altogether? So many considerations that all need to be laid out perfectly and with complete clarity if we're going to succeed in this challenge. And then we move on to psychology. Now, psychology is a very hard one to measure. It's how do you fit into the market? Have you got strengths and weaknesses there that need fixing, or you could take advantage of? In the small account world and the retail trading world, psychology is probably one of the biggest killers of a trading account. So you've really got to nail that. And it sounds stupid, but you've got to put it in your trading plan. You've got to be constantly measuring your performance, just not on the physical financial returns, but on your psychological performance. And then the fifth point was edge and strategies. If you haven't got an edge, there's no point doing it. If you haven't got any strategies, you don't just go off buying and selling. We need a well laid out plan around our edge and strategies. Have I got an edge in the first place? I've got experience trading, so I know from that experience where my edge probably lies and the strategies I'll deploy. If you haven't got experience in this, then it's a lot harder to do, and there's ways of back testing your results. Either you might be a good programmer or not. You might be able to do it that way. You might just have to do it as an eyeball. There's certain rules that you can put down if you're starting from fresh with little experience, but you've got to work on the assumption that you've got an edge and you've got a workable strategy. And that leads us nicely into the last point, which is about performance analysis. If you haven't got that back testing history, you're going to have to keep a very detailed log of results and keep monitoring those results to see whether you are actually performing to your strategy ideas and you have got that edge. And as you saw in that diagram previously, that process spins round all the time. You don't just stop when you've done your first few trades. You keep recording, keep trying to improve and building on what you've got. So they're just some of the, I suppose you could call it, generic parts of the trading plan. And we're now going to dig into a bit more detail about the specifics of the challenge. So here's my first take on the small account trading challenge plan. It is going to get more granular as we go through more videos because there's concepts in themselves within some of these points, but for the purposes of this video I've kept it detailed but not too detailed. So the first point there, the aim is to make money on the £1,000 dollar trading account, and I'm going to be prepared to lose the lot. Now normally I would recommend you having a drawdown limit in place to prevent you losing your whole account, maybe like 30%, but for this instance I'm going to try my best to make money, but like I said, prepared to lose a lot. I'm going to use CFDs. I'm also going to use retail leverage. Now, I could get professional leverage, but I want to keep it as realistic to the retail trading world as possible. That means my leverage won't be as great as I could get hold of. And then I'm also going to, because of margins and leverage restrictions in place over here in the UK, I'm only going to trade forex and stock market indices. This will allow me to get the most trades on, the most momentum going. If I traded stocks or commodities, I wouldn't be able to put hardly any trades on with $1,000 account. My strategies will be 100% technical analysis. They're going to be supported by some various tools that I've created around currency strength and volatility for the indices. Like I said, this is going to be one of those specific points that we can delve into more as the series goes on. You know, what sort of technical analysis tools and charts stuff I'm using. But for the purpose of this, it's 100% technical analysis, and those strategies are going to be clearly written down and defined, so I make the process as systematic as possible, from putting on the trade through to closing out the trade, and then that performance analysis. It all becomes a very systematic process. I'm only going to have a maximum of 6 positions on at any one time, and of those individual positions, not going to risk more than 5% on any one trade. I'm going to compound results weekly, and I'm going to trade between 6 AM and 10 PM. I'm lucky enough to do so. It might be different in your world, and I'm going to try and close out those positions at the end of each day, so I don't hold any overnight risk, because I can't monitor the positions overnight, and you can get some spikes and less liquid markets which can cause you problems. So I'm going to try and keep out, but if I can't, I have to stay in them, then I'm going to tighten those stops really aggressively in a systematic process that allows them to run. But if they get taken out, it's not going to be a catastrophe. It's all about preserving your capital in this sort of challenge. So I'm not going to be swayed by any news or information that's based on fundamentals, because that can damage your strategy. It messes with your head, gets into the psychological elements of trading, and that can ruin your results. So I'm going to try and be as clean 100% technical analysis as possible, and I'm going to map my CFD account to something called myfxbook.com. I'm going to show you how to do that for yourselves as well, so then I can get real-time performance results, so I can see what's working and what's not, and then I'm going to commit to 1 hour per week on spending detailed time analysing what's gone on, what's worked, what hasn't, and actioning what I find. I'm also going to keep this as real and retail as possible, and I'm only going to try and use the tools that you guys will be able to get your hands on. So just a brief overlook at what tools I'm going to be using. Again, we'll go into more details on these. Broker I'm going to be using is someone called ForexVox, and their details will be in the description below. And I'm also going to use TradingView, the chart package. That's very commonly used these days in the world of retail trading, so I'm going to use that to set up the strategies and create alerts, and use that for the technical analysis part of my trading. They're the real 2 tools. The rest comes from spreadsheets, the myfxbook.com that we're going to look at for performance analysis, and really that's just about it. So we've got to have developed our trading plan, and we've got our tools, so that allow us to start getting into the real fun of trading. The challenge starts beginning of May, so we're not far off. So next few weeks we're going to get the setup all sorted and be ready to go for that start date. So you're now seeing how to put together a trading plan from scratch, how I would go about it and how you should go about it too. It might seem a bit laborious at the moment, but these are the details you've got to get right from the start, and as the series progresses we're going to build up our knowledge base. We're going to see the trading in action, understand the strategies, how to use the brokers, the charting packages, all that lot in one, and hopefully we're going to achieve a positive result from the trading. So if you've enjoyed today's video, please give us the thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons to receive further notification on this series or any of the other video content I produce. And all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching, good luck with the trading, and I'll see you in the next video.